Hey gamers, Scott Cole here, ready to break down defense in EA Sports College Football 25. You can't win championships by just scoring touchdowns. You need a killer defense to shut down your opponents. In this guide, we'll turn you into a defensive wall. Defense is just as important as offense. It's about strategy, timing, and reading the opponent. A great defense can change the game. Imagine this, it's the national championship. The score is tied and the clock is ticking down. Your opponent has the ball and is driving down the field. But wait, your defense holds strong, forcing a turnover on downs. Game over. You win. That's the power of a dominant defense. Defense isn't just about stopping your opponent from scoring. It's about creating turnovers. Imagine forcing fumbles and grabbing interceptions. These turnovers can swing the momentum in your favor and lead to easy points for your team. So are you ready to become a defensive force to be reckoned with? Let's dive into the basics of defense in EA Sports College Football 25. Let's break down the basics of defense. First, you need to understand the different player positions. You've got your defensive linemen, linebackers, and defensive backs. Each position has a specific role to play. Defensive linemen are your big guys up front. They are responsible for rushing the quarterback and stuffing the run. Linebackers are the heart of your defense. They need to be able to tackle, cover receivers, and blitz the quarterback. Defensive backs are your last line of defense. They cover the wide receivers and try to intercept passes. You control one player at a time on defense. You can switch between players using the controller buttons. Each player has different controls for tackling, covering, and rushing the passer. Mastering these controls is key to being a successful defender. Don't worry, it becomes second nature with practice. Now let's talk about pre-snap adjustments. Before the ball is snapped, you can make adjustments to your defensive alignment and coverage. This allows you to counter your opponent's formations and play calls. Defensive formations are like the blueprints for your defense. They dictate the positioning of your players on the field. There are many different formations to choose from, each with its strengths and weaknesses. One popular formation is the 4-3 defense. This formation features 4 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers. It's a balanced formation that's effective against both the run and the pass. Another common formation is the 3-4 defense. This formation uses 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers. It's a more aggressive formation that's designed to put pressure on the quarterback. Choosing the right formation depends on your opponent's offensive tendencies and your defensive game plan. Don't be afraid to experiment with different formations to find what works best for you. Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all formation. It's all about finding the right fit for your defensive style. Now that you understand formations, let's talk about defensive plays. Each play has a specific assignment for each player on the field. You need to choose plays that counter your opponent's offensive scheme. If you're facing a team that loves to run the ball, you'll want to choose plays that are designed to stop the run. These plays will typically involve stacking the box with defenders. This means putting more defenders near the line of scrimmage to clog up running lanes. On the other hand, if you're facing a pass-heavy team, you'll want to choose plays that provide good coverage in the secondary. These plays will often involve dropping more defenders into coverage to take away passing lanes. It's important to mix up your play calls to keep your opponent guessing. Don't be predictable. If you keep calling the same plays, your opponent will catch on and exploit your tendencies. Remember, the key to selecting the right defensive plays is to anticipate your opponent's moves and choose plays that counter their offensive strategy. Section 5. Be a mind reader. Anticipating your opponent's next move. Defense is not just about reacting to what your opponent is doing. It's about anticipating their next move and being in the right position to make a play. One way to anticipate your opponent's plays is to pay attention to their formation and personnel. For example, if they bring in extra tight ends, they might be planning to run the ball. If they line up in a shotgun formation with 4 wide receivers, they're probably going to pass. You can also learn your opponent's tendencies by watching game film or playing against them multiple times. Do they like to run the ball on first down? Do they have a favorite receiver they like to target? Once you have a good understanding of your opponent's tendencies, you can start to anticipate their plays. This will allow you to make adjustments to your defense and put yourself in a better position to make a play. Remember, the more you play, the better you'll become at reading your opponent and anticipating their moves. Section 6. Avoid these defensive blunders. Even the best defenders make mistakes, but by avoiding these common defensive blunders, you'll be well on your way to becoming a shutdown defender. One common mistake is biting on play-action passes. Play-action passes are designed to fool defenders into thinking it's a running play. Don't be fooled. Keep your eyes on the quarterback and don't commit to the run too early. Another common mistake is not wrapping up when tackling. If you don't wrap up, the ball carrier can easily break free for extra yards. Make sure you drive through the ball carrier and secure the tackle. Another mistake is not getting pressure on the quarterback. If the quarterback has all day to throw, he's going to pick apart your defense. Make sure you're getting a good pass rush from your defensive line and linebackers. By avoiding these common mistakes, you'll be well on your way to becoming a more effective defender. Section 7. Become a defensive mastermind. Advanced strategies. Ready to take your defense to the next level? Let's dive into some advanced strategies that will make you a defensive mastermind. One advanced strategy is disguising your coverage. Don't let the offense know what you're doing before the snap. Show one coverage and then switch to another right before the ball is snapped. This will confuse the quarterback and make it harder for him to find open receivers. Another advanced strategy is blitzing. Blitzing is when you send extra defenders after the quarterback. This can be a risky strategy, but it can also be very effective if done correctly. When blitzing, it's important to choose your spots carefully. You don't want to blitz every play. Mix up your blitzes to keep the offense guessing. Finally, don't underestimate the importance of communication. Defense is a team effort. Communicate with your teammates and make sure everyone is on the same page. Section 8. Take the field and dominate. There you have it, folks. You're now well equipped to shut down your opponents in EA Sports College Football 25. Remember, defense is just as important as offense. Don't be afraid to get aggressive and make plays. The more you play, the better you'll become at reading the offense, anticipating plays, and reacting to the ball. So get out there, dominate the gridiron, and become a defensive legend. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more you play, the better you'll become. So, what are you waiting for? Get out there and show everyone what you've got.